Hey, it's Dr. McLean with Vital Energy Chiropractic. Hey, I want to talk to you about remaining independent as you age. We're coming up here on the 4th anniversary of my dad's passing. And my dad was such a hard worker, had just an amazing life. But the last really decade of his life, I really saw his health go downhill. And at the very end, he had to spend some time in a nursing home. And he hated being there. I hated seeing him there, but he really needed to be there. He couldn't take care of himself for that period of time. And so I don't want you to have to end up in that situation unless you choose to be an assisted living center. So let me share this is amazing research. It was called Spinal Posture in the Sagittal Plane is associated with future dependence in activities of daily living. This was done by the Journal of Gerontology. And what they determined is that they talked about levels of disability. And disability is your inability to be able to perform activities of daily living, to be able to take care of yourself and live independently. And so they took, what they did is they used a computer device and they measured people's spinal alignment. They measured their posture. And they put them into 4 different groups. And group 1 had the best posture, the best spinal alignment. Group 2 had the second best, or worst, if you want to call it that. So it went from best to worst, from group 1, 2, 3, and 4. And these numbers are amazing. So group 1, as compared to group 2, had a 46% higher risk of a need for activities of daily living assistance. So they needed assistance that are 46% higher. When they compared group 1 to group 3, they had a 290% greater need for activities of daily living assistance. Group 1 compared to group 4, almost 400%, 393% more likely to need assistance with their activities of daily living. So there's a direct correlation. By the way, this is not the only study that's been done. There's been several studies like this, medical studies, not chiropractic studies, showing that the worse your spine is in alignment, the more likely that you're going to need assistance and you're more likely to end up being disabled. And so they've also found too, this is not just standing up better. This is not just getting your spine crunched back into alignment. This is a brain issue. When your spine over time goes out of alignment, the brain cannot comprehend, it can't see your posture, so to speak. It has an inability to recognize the signals coming up from your body. So therefore, when you get adjusted, the new research is showing it affects you at a brain level, which then can control your spine better, because there's times where you want your spine to be really loose and relaxed, and there's times where you want your spine to be tight. When you go to lift something, you want your spine to be tight and not be able to move very much. That's what you want. The ability to be able to control that from being loose to being tight comes from your brain, not from the spinal muscles surrounding there, but the brain being able to communicate to those muscles. In other words, the control doesn't come from your spine itself, it comes from your brain. So there's huge benefits. Not only it takes some time to get your spine corrected, if you're not getting your first adjustment until you're 30, 40, 50 years old, it might take a year or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years to really get that reset. I know that sounds like a long time, but if you've had spinal malfunction for 10, 15, 20 years, it's going to take some time to reset that. Now you're getting better all the time. It's not like you go and don't have any progress and then at 5 years you have this progress. You're getting better all the time, but to get really reset, it takes some time and then it takes some maintenance. You know, just like exercise, once you get in shape, you need to put some effort into staying in shape, okay? So I want you to really start to think long-term about your health, but because if you could have been in the room with me, with my dad, sitting there and just seeing how depressed and how much he was not being enjoying in this room, basically, I want to say like a jail cell, because it was a great facility and they took good care of him, but he was really immobile at that point. He couldn't do a lot, and it just hurt me to see him in that position. I don't want that to happen to you. I don't want that to happen to anybody that you know. And the best way to decrease the chance of that happening and save a ton of money, it's very expensive, not only to get sick, but to end up in these facilities is very expensive. And so the best way to prevent that or decrease your chance of having that happen is to take care of your spine and nervous system through chiropractic care. So keep up your adjustments. If you know somebody, a loved one, a friend, family is not getting their spine checked, even if they have no issues. In other words, pain is typically the last thing to show up. Also, you can have major spinal dysfunction and not have any pain, okay? So get your loved ones in here, get them into a chiropractor. If they're here in Montana, get them into our office. We'll do a detailed exam and find out those areas of malfunction and start to correct those so it can decrease their chances of ending up in those situations.